Hello everyone, today we are going to go through the problem staircase on the warm-up algorithm section of HackerRank. So without wasting time, let us have a look on the problem statement. So here's the problem statement. Staircase detail. This is a staircase of size n equal to 4. Here we have a shape. Its base and height are both equal to n. It is drawn using dash symbols and spaces. The last line is not preceded by any spaces. Write a program that prints a staircase of size n. So by reading this, we can understand that as input, we are going to have a size that will represent the size of the staircase. And based on that, we are going to draw a shape. And what are the characteristics of the shape? The base and the height are both equal to n. The shape will be drawn using dash symbols and spaces. And the last thing is that the last line is not preceded by any space. So let us have a look on the shape to understand more on how we are combining our dash and space to actually build the shape. Let me use this as my whiteboard. So what we can see is that the first line of the shape, we have 3 spaces and 1 dash. The second line, we have 2 spaces and 2 dashes. The third one, we have 1 spaces and 3 dashes. And the fourth one, we actually have 0 space and 4 dashes. And from this, we can see that the number of spaces plus the number of dashes will always be equal to the size of the staircase. 3 plus 1 equal to 4, 2 plus 2 equal to 4, and so on to the end. And we can see that the last one will indeed have 0 space. As we mentioned here, the last line is not preceded by any space. So from this, we have a thorough understanding of what we are supposed to do. For the example, this is actually one example of what we are supposed to build. We have input 4 and we are building something like this. And here is another example. We have input 6 and we are building something like this. You see the first one you will always have 1 dash and the heads of the space will be spaces. And here we have 2 and so on and so on. So without wasting time, let us talk about the approach. How are we going to build this program? How are we going to write our code to have this as output? We can see that in the shape we have n, what I say, because the size of n, we are going to have n line, and each of the line we are going to build the line using this algorithm that has been mentioned here. So we can first of all have a for loop that will help us to have the number of lines, and for each of the line we are going to make use of this pattern to write the shape. And we can see that for line 1 we are starting to put the dashes from n minus the line where we are. What am I saying by that? Because here we can see that from 0, from 1 to 3, we are going to have spaces. So from 1 to n minus the index of the line, we are going to have spaces, and for the rest of the index above that, we are going to have dashes. So let us implement this and see what it gives. I'm going to remove this. I always tend to remove the boilerplate code because I want to read the input by myself. If it's not your case, if you want to make use of the boilerplate code, it will be pretty the same, because after reading the input, what you are going to implement will be basically the content of the function. So without wasting time, let us first read the size of the staircase. We are going to have n. We're going to have this. So now we have the size of the staircase. After reading the size of the staircase, let us have our for loop. So this first for loop will help us to build the number of line, and we have the second for loop. The second loop, I prefer to go with 1 base instead of 0 base, since we are here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's natural for me to go with 1 base. So if I'm going from 1, I'm gonna have equal here. The second thing here, we have g equals to 1, g less or equal to n. And what we are going to have here is a basic condition, like we are going to if g is less or equal to n minus e, then we are going to see out space, else we are going to see out dashes. And at the end, we need to go to the line before starting printing the element of the second line. There's it. So yeah, you can see that, like we were saying here, from 1 to 3, like from the index 1 till n minus the index, we will have to print spaces, and from the element above, we are going to print dashes. So without wasting time, let us run this and see what it gives. I need to remove this, otherwise I will have an error. I hope everything is okay. Let us run and see what it gives. So we have everything green. So this double for loop is actually helping us to build the desired shape. Now, let us think of the optimization of this. We can see that we have here a for loop that will help us to build the shape of the number of lines. But we have another for loop here that we are using to build the spaces and the shape. And this leads us to big O of n squared. How can we optimize this to have something of big O of n? So to optimize this, I have this interesting content string that can help you optimize this. We can see that the constructor of the string, the default string we are using is this. We are used to, but we have this constructor that can help us build. That can help us build. How would I say? Create a string with and fill the string with a special character a desired number of times. So here we can see fill the string with 10 consecutive copy of character C. So we can say that for each of the elements, for this one, we are going to have a first string that we are going to fill it with n minus I spaces, and we are going to have a second string that we are going to fill it with I dashes, and we are just going to concatenate the two strings. We are going to output that. That will help us avoid this for loop here. So let us implement that and see what it gives. Like we said, we have strings. And I'll just put S for the start. We will now be a string of size n minus I, like I just said, and the first character, the character will be this. For the second one, we are going to have n. I will have it like this. I, that is the size of the string, and the character will be this. I hope this is clear for you. So this is where you can have it. You can see it here. If you have S6A, and if this will actually build a string of size 10, we'll fill the string with x. So from this, we can see that we will have a string named S with n minus 1 spaces, and we have another string n with I dashes. And from this, we can just output S plus E, and we print this to go to the line. You see, now we have just one for loop. We have this string and this string, and we concatenate the two strings. Let us run this and see what it gives. we can see that everything is still green. So here, let us submit the code and see if all the test cases are also green. We have a bunch of test cases, 8, and we can see that everything is green. So by using this string constructor, you basically reduce the complexity of your algorithm from n square to n. I really enjoy going through this problem. I hope it's the same for you. I would really like to have your feedback on this. So I really appreciate to have your comment. Like if you enjoyed the video, and share to your friend if you really enjoyed the video. If there's anything you would like to share with me, like I said, comment. I will really be happy having those comments. So stay tuned for the next video. Hope to see you. Ciao.